All right, folks, today I've got Truckin' by the Grateful Dead. It starts out with this little riff. We got a little honky tonk thing on the E there. So what that was 4 on the G string and 3 on the B string. And those are triplets, so it's like 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. That'd be one measure of it, so we do 2 measures of it. That's the Bob Weir part. So we got 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. Here we have that honky tonk. We have open and 2. Bum ba bee da bum ba bee da bum ba bee da bum ba bee da. Okay, so it's like 4 bars of that till we get into the chorus. Now Jerry Garcia's got a lead after the. He comes in and he goes. So he hammers in the open to 2 and the D string. So boom, 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 and then da 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 da. He does a hammer, but he starts getting into the triplet feel. So it's 2 sets of triplets there. 1 and a 2 and then he goes down the E minor pentatonic with flat 5th scale. So we got the D string, 2 and 1 and open on the A, 3 open, and then the new measure starts with another E there. So. So that's a little intro lead Jerry Garcia solo. So that was 2 bends on the 15 on the 2nd string, and then 12 on the B, 14, 12, with a little bend on that 12 to the root note, the E there, 14 of the D string. So, and then we go little bend on that 12 again to the 14 and back. And that was a pull off here on the D string to the A string. We got 14, 12 to 14. Hammer on, D string, 12 to 14. Now here we're going to have a unison bend, 12 on the 2nd string, 14 on the G. Kind of hit the 12 again on the 2nd. And then we hit the bend on the 14 and then bend it down to the 12. So, and then we have a. So we wait a quick second on the new measure. We have 14, 14. So 14, 14, 12, 14, 12. Back to that D string and back. So it ends with 14, 12 in the D, 14, 13, 12, slide to the 11. And that 11 is the major third of the E chord. So it makes a nice change to the E chord there. So once again, the Jerry part coming in from the intro. We got. Okay, and then the first chorus starts. Truckin'. Okay, so your first little fill there is going to be like kind of coming from somewhere near the 5 into the 14 of the 2nd string, and then 12, 14, 12 on the 1st string. The next one is 21st fret, we got to bend. And then we have a 19th fret downward bend to the 17th. The chorus itself would be. So we got the A honky tonk, and you can kind of slide in from that 4th fret. Up to the B, 7th fret. Back to A. Now we have the riff that sets up the first verse. So it's open, open, open. So 3 opens. So it's 2 opens and then like a hammer on 0, 3, 4 thing. 2 on the D string there. Hit it again. 5, 4, 2 on the A. So that's the riff that goes underneath the first verse. Now the verses could also be like, so what we do is we have like an E chord there, and we come into the A notes, the D, G, and B strings, the twos, and we kind of hammer into the G and B strings into the first fret of the G string. That's one of those kind of standard, right? So you get a little bit of the 4 chord and back to your 1 chord. Same thing with the A, B. Got those 9s. So later on in the tab, I have just kind of a reminder. Okay, so let's go through our chorus one more time. 2, 3, and truckin'. A, B, A, and when you get back to that E, there's usually a different riff each time for like a new verse. So some of them will repeat, but a lot of them are very different. So it's very progressive the way it keeps moving along and changing things as it goes. So we got for the second verse riff, we got so O, 4, O, 2, O, hammer down to that root note of the E there in the D string. So that's how the second verse riffs play out, and then you're back in a chorus again. So that's third verse one is like a 2 open E's and then a 2-4-2 on the A. Open, open, and then the kind of typical 3-4-2. So they keep the groove, but they just change it a little bit enough to make it like where it doesn't have to repeat so much. Okay, now at the end of this one, we're going to get into the bridge. There's a little riff going into the A for the bridge. So we had open, 1 to 2 on the A string, D string open, 2 to open pull off, G back to A, and then at the very end of that measure you got a little bend on that 3, take you into A. Okay, so we got so it was like you had the sometimes the lights all shine. So it's like one measure of the honky tonk, and then A, G, see that 3 there? A, G, A, O3, O2, O2, A. Now this time, we're gonna go to the D for 2 strums. A, now we're going D chord, B chord to F sharp, back to B, back to F sharp, A. Okay, so that's Jerry's next lead. We wait till the second beat, and then we hit this 15th fret, bending up to the E. And we're going to go triplets after that. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a 5 and a... There's 5 sets of them. That's not where the beat would be necessarily in that measure. It'd be like 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a... Now this last one's going to go a bend up and down and back up, and then we have another bend and then another down up. 2 more bends. Now this last measure is going to go... So bend up and then down to the 12, 14, 12. You got 14s back and forth, and then the 14, 12, 14. So 1, 2, 3 and a 4 and a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a. Okay, then we're in the next verse with the What in the World Ever Became a Sweet Jane. We got some Jerry fills. We got, so that was 15 on the second string and bend the 17th fret of the first string. And then the second one goes. So that was just 2 bends on the 17, 17, 15, 2 17s on the second string. And then after the last line of the vocal, you got, so 12, 12, 15, 12 in the second, 15, 14, 12 to your root note there. And then the last one is, so we got one more at the end here, and it's bend on the 14 G string, 12 to 12, second to third strings. So once again, we got 1. Okay, then we're back into another chorus. We'll kind of skip that. Here's where in the tab I kind of show you that thing about. So see how having those chords, bigger chords with the changing chords and the little hammer on goes with the, and creates nice bigger textures because they're doing different things, occupying different space and stuff. Okay, then we get into another riff. We got a lead-in riff to the next verse. We got. So it's just open, open, 4, open, 2, open, and our typical hammer on to the root note. And this is the minor third to the major third that we're hammering all the time. So that's a cool effect, just like this when we do that thing down here. There's also a little riff that they do sometimes when they're on the E where he hammers in that open to 1. And that's the same stuff we're talking about where we got that's G to G sharp, that's G to G sharp. So it's a minor third to a major third, and it creates that bluesy effect. Our fourth verse riff, we're going to go back to an old riff. So open, open, hammer. And you could either kind of keep that 2 to hit the 5, 4, 2, or you could go to this 2 on the A string. See how they're kind of interchangeable there? Okay, then there's a fill there at the end of one of these previous sections where we got a. So you kind of slide in with the 16 and 15 on the G and B. But you keep hitting on the 16 on the G. So you got 1 and a 2 and a bound. Now we have fills on this next chorus. We got Truckin. So that's going to be 14 on the G to 15 on the B. Bend it up. And then we get to the A. You got 16 to 17. And then B, you got 18 to 19. Next fill is 17 on the B, 19 on the E. Bend it down to the 17. And then the end of that one, we got a little bit of it like 12 to 14 bend. And then wait a little bit, 14, 12, 12. Now we got another verse. And at the end of this verse, we're going to walk back to the bridge, but we're going to have a single note thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. So chromatic up to the A from the E. So shining all the time. D. Now we go D chord, B, F sharp, A. So we fill a little time on that E now. And we're gonna have a chorus again. So yet again, another little variation on a theme here. To the the 2 of the A string, open, and then 4-2. So. And then we're in like the last verse here. We go back to the old riff. Now there's one more little solo here at the end. It's like a. Okay, so we got a bunch of notes on this 12. Da 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 da. Now we start bringing in the 14th. This one goes 13, 12. And then we got. So we had 2 12s and then a 14 bend on the little string. And then 1 12 and a 14. Bend it up and down. 12, 14, 12. Now this next time has one extra little note there. And then we're going to finish with. So we got. These are triplets too. A lot of triplets in this tune because of that swing feel. All right, Truckin' by the Grateful Dead, Bob Weir, Jerry Garcia. Hope you all dug it. 3 pages of tabs on this one. Talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.